Hey guys, so here's something that's going to blow your mind. XRP is already sitting pretty as one of the most valuable assets on the entire planet. I'm not kidding around here. When I checked the rankings for this video, XRP was sitting at number 92. 92 out of all assets worldwide. That's absolutely incredible when you really think about it. But here's where it gets interesting. I genuinely believe XRP is going to climb way higher on this list. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked, not even a little bit, if XRP breaks into the top 10 of all global assets. Not just crypto, I'm talking about everything. Stocks, commodities, real estate, you name it. Now, think about this for a second. XRP has reached this incredible valuation with less than 1% of the world's population ever buying it. Less than 1%. So what happens when adoption really takes off? When more people start getting involved? This thing is going to be worth an absolute fortune compared to where we are right now. What really impresses me is how XRP got here, despite everything thrown at it. Remember that whole SEC situation? They tried their absolute best to take XRP down, and guess what? They failed miserably. And you know what that tells me? If XRP survived that SEC attack, which was basically the nuclear option for trying to kill a cryptocurrency, then nothing's going to stop it. That was their best shot, their most powerful weapon, and XRP just shrugged it off. Let's talk about what XRP could be worth if it actually makes it into the top 10 global assets. And honestly, after you see these numbers I'm about to show you, I think you'll agree that it's not such a crazy idea after all. Some of these figures are going to absolutely stagger you, but getting into the top 10? It might not be as big of a stretch as you'd think. So I found this headline from Crypto Basic that caught my attention. Here's how much XRP must rise to overtake the top 10 assets in the world. They published this just this morning, and it shows XRP currently sitting as the 100th largest asset globally. The big question is, exactly how much would XRP need to rise to break into that exclusive top 10 club? Let's dive into these numbers.
Whoa, check this out. When I started working on this video, XRP was sitting at $2.87. But guess what? By the time I'm recording this voiceover, it's already jumped to $3.07. That's some serious movement, folks. And here's where it gets really interesting. XRP has been climbing the ranks like crazy. We're not talking about being stuck at 100 anymore. XRP is now ranked number 92 on this massive list I'm showing you. Now, what makes this list so special? I'm looking at companiesmarketcap.com right here, and this isn't just your typical crypto ranking. This thing includes everything. We're talking public companies, precious metals, cryptocurrencies, ETFs, you name it. It's all mixed together in one giant ranking. Just to put this in perspective for you, Bitcoin, the king of crypto, is sitting pretty at number 6 on this same list. Pretty wild when you think about it, right? Okay, check this out. You might be surprised by what's actually the most valuable thing on Earth. Gold absolutely dominates at $23 trillion. That's massive. Nvidia comes in second at $4.3 trillion, which is pretty incredible for a tech company. Then we've got Bitcoin sitting at number 6 with $2.2 trillion. Not too shabby for digital currency, right? And XRP? Well, it's hanging out at $182 billion. Still a solid number, but you can see the gap here.
All right, let me break this down for you. And yeah, I'm reading these numbers as they are right now, even though crypto prices probably changed while I was talking. You know how it is with crypto. Don't like the price? Wait 30 seconds and it'll be completely different. So XRP is sitting at $2.87 right now. And honestly, it's been absolutely crushing it in 2025. We're talking about a 38% gain since January. That's seriously impressive. Want some perspective? The S&P 500 only managed 6%, NASDAQ did 8.33%, and even gold, the classic safe haven, only hit 28%. XRP beat them all. Look, XRP has been on fire ever since the November election. Now that the whole war on crypto is finally over and we've got a fair playing field, XRP is doing exactly what I knew it would do. It's absolutely shining. Here's the thing. It just needed that level playing field. Turns out XRP is incredibly useful and people are finally recognizing it. It does what Bitcoin was supposed to do, but couldn't quite pull off. Real-time settlement, transactions that are basically free. It actually works in real life. People around the world are catching on that this makes total sense. Now XRP is already in the top 100 global assets, and people are asking, how much higher does it need to go to crack the top 10? For this analysis, they're using 59.3 billion tokens in circulation, which makes sense.
Yep, that checks out.
Live CoinWatch confirms 59.3 billion. So they've got their math right. And you know the drill. Just multiply that by the current price and boom, you've got your market cap. Pretty straightforward stuff. All right, let's see what else they found.
Now, some analysts like Blockchain Backer are more conservative. He's calling $8 to $10 for XRP. If he's right, then we won't see XRP in the top 10 anytime soon. Could be years. But here's the thing. If a massive wave of money flows into crypto like some serious analysts predict, then yeah, XRP could absolutely hit that range. That's why chart guys like Credible Crypto and Crypto Insight UK are predicting XRP peaks between $20 to $30. So if you're holding XRP right now, congrats! You might be holding one of the future top 10 most valuable assets on the planet. XRP's already at number 92, which means you're still early. If it makes top 10, you're super early. To match Meta at $1.884 trillion, XRP needs $31.77. Some think that's possible this cycle. Not my base case, but not crazy either. Silver's at $2 trillion, that's $35.21 for XRP. Amazon's sixth place means $38.44. Now, above $38, that's where I start raising an eyebrow if we're talking this cycle. But with no time frame, I mean, if XRP keeps getting adopted like it is now, and let's be honest, it's already successful, how does it not eventually hit $38? The crypto space keeps growing, XRP is going to have its piece of that pie. It's almost inevitable at some point. And get this, if XRP hits over $38, it would leapfrog Bitcoin, Amazon, and Alphabet all at once. Okay, hold up. There's one big thing to remember here. All these numbers are based on today's market caps, including Bitcoin. And let's be real, that's not how this works. Money flows into Bitcoin first. Always has, probably always will. So if XRP hits $38, Bitcoin's going to be worth way more than it is now. We're talking 200K, maybe 300K for Bitcoin. Look, XRP taking the number one spot this cycle, not happening. Maybe ever, who knows, I can't predict the future. But right now, people are acting exactly like they have in every previous cycle. Bitcoin first, everything else second. So yeah, if XRP hits $38 this cycle, Bitcoin's going to be at some absolutely insane number, which is why I'm skeptical it happens this cycle anyway. Now, they mentioned XRP overtaking Apple at over $3 trillion. That's $50.95 per XRP. 0% chance this cycle, but could XRP eventually hit $50 plus? Absolutely. I firmly believe that's within reality, just don't know when. Then there's Nvidia at number 2 with $4.2 trillion. XRP would need to hit $71.39. Triple-digit XRP? Not crazy at all. Don't know if it'll ever happen, but definitely not crazy. But here's where it gets wild. To overtake gold and become the most valuable asset on Earth, that's $380.38 per XRP. Now that would be absolutely buck wild. Am I counting on XRP becoming number one ever? Honestly, no. But maybe I'm not thinking big enough. Maybe I'm not being visionary enough. That's totally possible. If XRP keeps getting adopted and proves it's truly that valuable. I mean, who knows what happens? We're living in a brave new world here. I think a lot of people just don't think big enough. That's become pretty clear. I mean, think about it. There were tons of people who said XRP would never hit $3 again, let alone break its all-time high. And look where we are now. Same thing with Bitcoin. Remember all those people who said it was worthless, that it would never amount to anything? The world is absolutely full of people who just can't see the bigger picture. So who knows? Maybe if we give it enough time, XRP actually does reach those crazy numbers. Never underestimate what's possible in this space. Now, if you want to talk about more realistic short-term targets, and trust me, this is still pretty exciting stuff, let's look at Ethereum. If XRP just matched Ethereum's current market cap, we're looking at $7.59 per XRP. And honestly, that's pretty appealing to me. I'd definitely be selling some XRP in that range. Hopefully, I would have already taken profits on most of my position by then, if we see those prices. But here's what's really interesting about this. This is with Ethereum sitting at, what, $3,717 as I'm recording this? That's still way below its all-time high of nearly $4,800 to $4,900. So I'm assuming Ethereum's probably gonna climb way higher than that. I don't know if we're talking 8K, 9K, maybe even 10K. Some analysts think it goes even higher than that.
If that happens, we're looking at something like $20 XRP. That's why I say $20 XRP this cycle isn't crazy. Don't know if it'll happen, but definitely not crazy. Now, if XRP matched Bitcoin's current market cap, that's $38.65 per XRP. But remember, since Bitcoin leads the market, it'll be worth way more by the time XRP gets there. But here's my thing. Take away the time frame and ask, will this ever happen? I honestly don't see how it doesn't. XRP is getting adopted like crazy, and more people jump into crypto every day. It just makes sense. Bitcoin's at $2.29 trillion market cap as I'm recording this, so why couldn't XRP have a multi-trillion-dollar market cap someday? It'd actually be weird if it never got there, don't you think? Look, I've been holding XRP since late 2017, and I've always dreamed big, but within reality, and things are unfolding pretty much how I expected. I just never know the timing or exact numbers. All this adoption we're seeing, publicly traded companies buying XRP, payment flows, money market funds tokenized on the XRP ledger, US Treasury bills on XRPL, none of this surprises me. I always believed this stuff made sense, and it's happening right now. So how does XRP not become worth way more as crypto keeps growing? It's a no-brainer to me. Now, are we going to have to wait a bit? Probably. Look, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for all those people screaming $40 to $50 this cycle to be right. I have zero ego about this. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first to say, congratulations, you nailed it. I want us all to make as much money as possible. That would be absolutely delightful. But even if it's less than that, this is still going to be life-changing for so many people. And I believe that's coming no matter what numbers we hit. Our lives could be completely different within the next month or two if this cycle really peaks that fast. Everything could change for all of us that quickly. We're going to find out exactly what this looks like together, and it's really exciting. I don't think we're going to be disappointed.